For as long as any of us can remember, there's been one magic number that just screams retirement success. It's that finish line, that ultimate symbol of financial freedom, the proof that you finally made it.
That's right, $1 million. For decades, this has been the gold standard, right? The number that was supposed to be your ticket to a comfortable, secure retirement without a single financial worry in the world.
But here's the thing. In the world we live in now, we've got to ask the tough question. Does that number still have the same power? Is $1 million really enough anymore? Let's dig in. Now, what's really fascinating is that this $1 million dream isn't fading away. No way. It's actually getting stronger. Today, nearly half of all workers, 48%, believe they need at least $1 million to retire. That's a huge jump from just the year before when it was only 37%. So if we're all shooting for this target, we absolutely need to know if it can actually hold up.
Okay, so to really figure this out, we're going to tell a story. It's a tale of two retirees. They start in the exact same spot, with the exact same amount of money. But, as you're about to see, their journeys end into completely different worlds.
And to set the scene, let's think about it like this. Picture two sailors, okay? They're getting ready for the exact same long voyage. They have identical ships, and they're stocked with the exact same amount of supplies. On the surface, they are equally prepared for whatever's ahead. Or so it seems. And that brings us to our two retirees. Look at this. On paper, they are clones. Both start with a cool $1 million portfolio. Both plan to take out $50,000 a year to live on. And get this, they even have the exact same investments. Their financial future should be mirror images of each other, right? But they won't be. Because just like those sailors, our retirees are about to hit some serious storms. Let's call them the 3 hidden risks of retirement. The kinds of things that can turn a perfectly smooth voyage into a total shipwreck. All right, the first and honestly the biggest risk has a fancy name. Sequence of returns risk. It sounds complicated, but the idea is actually super simple. It's the danger that you just get unlucky, that the timing is terrible and you retire right as the market tanks. When that happens, you're forced to sell your investments when they're down just to pay your bills. And when you sell low, you have to sell off more of your portfolio. And that can blow a hole in your nest egg that's almost impossible to patch up later. So let's see exactly how this plays out. Retiree A? Well, they had amazing luck. They retired right into a strong rising market. And after 10 years, their portfolio is looking great. But retiree B? Oh man, they sailed straight into a storm, a nasty bear market right at the start. Same investments, same withdrawals, but that awful timing forced them to sell low over and over again. Okay, get this. This is the crucial part. After just 1 decade, retiree's $1 million nest egg has been shredded. It's worth less than half of retiree A's. And remember, the only difference between them was the timing, the simple luck of the draw. That is the devastating power of sequence of returns risk. All right, so a market crash is like a sudden, unpredictable hurricane. But what about the giant waves you can see coming? But you're maybe, just maybe, underestimating how big they really are. I'm talking about one of the biggest and most overlooked expenses in all of retirement. I'm talking about $345,000. According to Fidelity, that's what an average 65-year-old couple retiring in 2025 can expect to spend just on out-of-pocket healthcare costs. And that's not for fancy stuff. That's just your basic premiums, copays, and prescriptions under Medicare. So take a look at what that number does to our $1 million dream. Before you even spend a single penny on a vacation or a hobby or helping your grandkids, more than a third of your entire nest egg is already spoken for. Suddenly, that big, round $1 million number isn't $1 million at all. It's really more like $655,000 before you've even started. And then there's the third risk, the one that sneaks up on you. I'm talking about inflation, the silent portfolio killer. And here's the kicker. For retirees, it's often way worse than the number you see on the news. Why? Because the things they spend the most on, utilities, medical care, food, are often the things seeing the biggest price hikes. It's just the slow, quiet burn that eats away at your buying power year after year. So, after battling all 3 of these hidden risks, where do our 2 retirees end up? Let's fast forward 20 years and see what their final destination looks like. Wow. Yeah, the picture here is stark. It could not be clearer. Retiree A, the one with the good timing, is still doing just fine, financially comfortable. But retiree B, who ran into that storm early on, is on the verge of running out of money completely. 2 identical starting points, 2 terrifyingly different outcomes. And there you have it.
The verdict is in. One person gets a life of comfort, the other faces financial ruin. That $1 million starting line, it wasn't nearly enough to protect them. The timing of the storm was the only difference, and it changed literally everything.
Okay, so if that magic number isn't the answer, then what is? Well, it's not about fixating on some number. It's about building a ship that can actually handle the storm. It's all about the plan.
Listen to how the experts at Fidelity frame it. They say $1 million is just a number. What really matters is how you structure your spending, how you manage your risks, and how you stay flexible when life and the market inevitably throws you a curveball.
So what does a stormproof plan actually look like? Well, it's built on a few key pillars. First, it prepares for bad timing so you're not forced to sell low just to live. Second, it budgets realistically for those huge healthcare costs so they don't blindside you. Third, it protects you from that slow burn of inflation. And finally, and this is so important, it has a flexible withdrawal strategy, one that lets you pull back when the market is down and maybe take a little more when things are good. Look, at the end of the day, your savings number, whatever it is the destination you're aiming for. But as we've just seen, getting there safely is not a guarantee. So the real $1 million question you should be asking yourself is this: is your plan ready for the voyage?